Another fun day with absolutely zero agenda, but I have got four stalwarts. Anyway, we will try to figure out that our session should be useful. And as always, while speaking through this podcast, I get to learn a lot. And I hope you guys also do the same. Keep firing your questions. I will keep an eye whenever possible. I'll take that to our speakers and see if we can get great answers from them. So before we begin, let's just first get a round of introduction and then we move forward. Who goes first? Alex?
Yep. Hey, Alex from WeatherXM. Happy to be here.
Yeah, I think that's an introduction about your project and yourself, right?
Oh, do you
Feel
want to?
free. Introduce yourself, your project. If you want to introduce the world, please do.
Sure. Yeah. WeatherXM is building out a mesonet, so a network of weather stations across the globe, currently in over 80 countries, about 9,000 weather stations deployed. And yeah, we're looking to be the world's largest mesonet. So I'm Alex. I'm on the BD team. I lead BD at WeatherXM. Happy to be here. Looking forward to the discussion.
Welcome, Alex. This is our second or third time, right?
I think this is my
Hopefully,
second. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, who goes next, Davey?
Sure. Davey Whittock, Chief Business Officer for Influx, or the Flux project. We are a decentralized infrastructure platform. We're pennies on the dollar compared to the big boys out there for your hosting needs. And we go from cloud hosting all the way to cloud compute for your AI needs. And our flagship product currently is Flux AI, where we have a privatized enterprise solution for your GPT needs so that folks can utilize it, knowing that their data is not going to be utilized in the next model, and it's completely privatized. So that's us. Nice to meet you. Nice to be here.
Awesome. Ben, you want to go next?
Hi. Thank you. Yeah, Bin Zhu, founder of the Stratos. And Strato is a decentralized infra service provider. And right now we provide decentralized storage, and the team is continuing working on the computing and the database. The current storage network across more than 20 countries. Right now there are more than 1,200 nodes. And the total storage size is around 25 terabytes. Thank you.
Welcome,
Okay.
welcome. Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
Yeah, so this is Steve. I from Crash Network. We are very old, not very new project. We focus on the decentralized storage. So we launched Midnight about 5 years ago. At that time, Filecoin just launched, and we are, usually like compare together with the Filecoin and RV. We are the first batch of Polkadot ecosystem project, and Gavin Wu used to, call for us. And if you go to like Ethereum wiki, Polygon wiki, like BNB wiki, you search the decentralized storage solutions, you can find us. I mean, Crash Network. Meanwhile, we are the author for the EIP 5625 and EIP 17588, which is all about the decentralized storage in the EVM ecosystem. Yeah. So you can find out many of our products in different EVM public chain. Also, we have like a personal storage box, like a personal Web3 Dropbox you can use, which we call Crossfire, and we also have a bucket storage solutions for developers people can use, right? Yeah, that's
Awesome.
perfect. Yeah.
What's great about this panel is that they are all OGs in their game, right? WeatherXM has been making a lot of waves, crossed literally like almost as synonymous to storage. Like I heard about you guys literally 5 years back, right?
Okay. Yeah, appreciate that.
And the Flux is making more waves, and almost a known figure to almost all the DePINs these days for storage needs. And you guys have also ventured into AI these days, right?
Yep, correct. Yeah, we started that journey 2 years ago.
Awesome. So my first question would be like the role of tokenomics, because all four of your projects are centered around this tokenomics. It's somewhere there is an incentive. Okay, it's an open table. So let me know how you have structured, or what are the key factors you have taken into consideration, or even if you haven't done, someone from your team has done it. What are the things you are looking for in a good tokenomics?
Maybe lose somebody. No. I'll go first then, I guess. So we started about 7 years ago as a proof of work coin. Back then, tokens were not as prominent as they are today. I think a lot of folks are more familiar these days with tokens compared to coins. So for us, it was more of a fair type of mining initiative that we wanted to have, so people can contribute by either mining the coin and or staking the coin. So for us, that was important to have both mechanisms. And the staking is what basically builds our network. So basically, at this point, we have about 13,000 nodes worldwide, and each of them have a certain amount locked to them. The reason we did all of that was to make sure that, one, we have a steady income of new coins being minted every 2 minutes. That helps with the distribution of the coin and spread it out. That goes both to the miners and to those stakeholders. But for us, the key there is to have an economy where people can, one, make the coin, and at the same time be able to spend said coin. So you can literally be mining our flux in the morning, and in the afternoon, stand up a Minecraft server and play with your friends in the evening with the coin that you minted. So for us, it's an all rotating system. And then later on with our staking platform, those folks basically get a part of the block reward every day, every 2 minutes. But at the same time, they will start joining in on getting some of the rewards of the people that pay for, let's say, that Minecraft server. A piece of that will go to the stakeholders, to the providers of those nodes at the same time. So it's basically one economy that keeps revolving. But in an enterprise world, it's a little different. Folks are not always as keen to buy a coin or a token and set up a wallet and all that fun stuff. So to accommodate those folks, what we've done is that they're able to pay with traditional fiat, either via PayPal or Stripe. But in the back end, what happens is that Influx then purchases that flux that's required, because we do require the flux to host something on the network. There's no way around that. So we do a bridge basically for those traditional type of integrations. But that's for us the quick overview of the tokenomics for Flux.
Inside the core, when the token value fluctuates, do you take it in account, or you say that much of flux is needed?
Yes.
Like, so how is it?
Yeah. So it is determined in advance how much flux is required based on the compute requirements you have. But if you're in a traditional environment, in a traditional IT company, they like to forecast their budgets and plan things out. And instead of saying, hey, we need to budget for 2,000 flux, they're gonna basically say we'll accommodate your department with $2,000 for that particular hosting. So we basically have it in the code, and it's in the GitHub. You can literally see, for that amount of cores, you pay X amount of dollars. That then translates into the amount of flux. So that's basically being kept track of at all times.
Awesome. Who wants to go next?
Yeah, maybe me.
Okay.
Yeah, first, not only Strato, I think for most of the DePIN project, we are with two-side market, consumer side and the infrastructure provider side. So for us, it's business user or individual user who uses storage, uses the services. The other side is miner side, right? So for Strato, it's the same thing. One thing, if the ending consumer business user or individual user, when they use the storage or when they use the Strato to send in the traffic, they need to pay for those tokens. And for the miner side and for the holder side, they will get the incentive. For the holder side, if they have tokens, they can stake in their token on Strato validators. As for miners, they contribute to their server with their bandwidth storage, and they will, based on how many traffic they generate every 10 minutes, we will deliver the incentive token to them based on the contribution they did. So yeah, this is the way. But meanwhile, we also depend on the miners, the node chip. If their manual node is very performance good, bandwidth good, and the latency is good, probably they will generate more traffic than the others. But if the miner's node is not stable because the power off, because any other issues, the node is down, probably there's some of the token reward will be slashed. I mean, there is a big fine. So because the data saved to the data saved to their node could be gone, so they need their slash token actually is pay for all the relevant data will be moved from his own node to the other's node. That will generate some cost, and that node will pay for that cost. Yeah.
Awesome. And many a times, so how do you handle slashing actually? Is it through a governance or?
No, it's not governance. Actually, the slash is he will pay. For example, your node is stored, for example, 5 terabytes data, and transfer this 5 terabytes data to the other node will cost 10 tokens. So when you are done, we will slash you 10 tokens to pay for that transporting fee. That's it.
Awesome. Alex wants to go next.
Yeah, sure. Our token's pretty simple in the sense that we have a cap supply, 100 million. A little over 14,000 tokens are issued every day to the network. So that's station owners in our case. In terms of earning rewards for the station owners, they get judged every 24 hours. They go through an algorithm that shows data quality. So we're not just paying people to set up stations. We're paying people to provide high quality data. And then we judge that data based on a few criteria. So we run a self-reference check, making sure the station and sensors are all working properly. We run reference checks to make sure the data being collected is roughly what we think it should be based on nearby weather stations. For example, one station could be showing, 20 degrees Celsius and another station showing, 40 degrees. That's right next to it. We know something's off. And if any of these happen, then they get slashed on rewards or get rewards go down to 0. There's a few other checks here that are more related to our specific siting of a station. So if a weather station is placed under a roof or a tree, that's going to limit the amount of solar or UV radiation that it can pick up from the sensor. And so we actually have algorithms that detect shadows. And so we will slash rewards if they do that improperly. And then we can detect if they set up a station indoors or if the station's moving. We have a secure GPS module on there because we want it stationary. Interesting thing about weather data is it becomes more valuable the longer a weather station is there, because then it can be used for climate studies. And then we also have the last, self-check is not self-check, but check on the data quality is if it's placed on the side of a building, it will have wind issues. So it won't be able to detect wind from every angle. And if we detect that, then they also get rewards slashed. But yeah, that's kind of the high level on our tokenomics.
In one of the implementation which we are doing with the help of Drone Dash, we're implementing, it's a proof of concept for in a 60,000 hectares palm plantation in Malaysia, where fertilizers are sprayed over the palm plantation with accuracy. and that always requires data from the NPK sensors. And also there are a little bit of micro weather requirement as well. Right. So of course, yeah, that's very interesting actually how the implementation is coming up. But I'm in touch with you guys anyway. So I'll see what we can do together for this, because it's also a bigger area, and it requires precision climate data for the drones to figure out how the fertilizers, or if there are any pesticides, need to be sprayed with. It need to spray with precision, and so that the manual labor can be eliminated completely. And the contract, we have signed it for 3 years so that we can maintain the plantation for a real long time. Yeah, so we are planning that hopefully this all solution come together and implement. We'll go to Steve.
Yeah, for Quest, I think we are pretty like a Beans project. Because we are a mining project. We keep running a network. You need to like distribute your tokens to the people who join the network, right? So the difference is, so we are actually a hybrid POW and POS model, which like if you have like your hard disk, you can contribute your hard disk and your server to the network. In the meanwhile, the hard disk volume will reflecting to a staking limit, so the others who have the token can staking on your hard disk, and then after your hard disk get the stake, get enough stake, your hard disk can be effective and work in the network. Meanwhile, you can production the new tokens. Yeah, that's the difference. Yeah.
Let me go back to a very basic question, but that actually is a confusion with all of the founders when we start.
Mhm.
Are you considering your tokenomics to be absolute law, code is law kind, or you add a flexibility in it, because it's almost impossible to visualize what is going to happen in future? So which side are you on?
From whom?
It's for everybody, but it starts with you.
Okay,
Steve,
so
go ahead.
for my side, so actually the code is locked because we have been running 5 years. The token price get dumped and pumped and dumped. So the people, the different people ask me why you guys don't recalibrate your tokenomics, because you can try to like adjust the staking limit, or try to like adjust the staking ratio. So I have to adjust the tokenomics for your network. So the thing is, we are pretty follow the code is law. We don't want to change anything, but we have the governance. So if the governments allow people to change, that's another story. But right now we don't have the plan to change anything. Yeah, what we did before. No.
So one is code is law.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
side are you on, Davey?
yeah.
I think it's always dangerous to start playing with your economics, right?
Yes.
I get what Steve says. We get the same question, especially when there's a bit of a downtrend in the market. Then people start panicking, and then immediately, and the devs do something. That's the always the one-liner you see in every Discord or Telegram chat. But it's a dangerous route to go. If you start playing with the economics, there's a couple things, right? There's the people who've already been in the space at that point, who've contributed, who've gathered their coins or their tokens, and then if you then start messing with it, then it's always like, are we doing them a favor, or are we just trying to please a couple guys who are a little upset because of the price?
Yeah.
The price is going down, and at the same time. The only thing that we adjust, and that's more of that's pure business thinking, is that the cost of the compute itself. Like, that's the only thing that we play with. But the pure economics of it, no, that's set in at the start of the mint of the coin. That's all baked into the code. You know exactly how much the block reward is. You know exactly when the halving happens, and that's it. If you want to make more coins, then you have to participate more. it's always an easy thing to go back at the project and say the project needs to fix this, but sometimes a bit of self-reflection can help as well, where you say, okay, if I want to make more coin of my favorite project, there's different ways of doing it. You can start trading it, you can start mining yourself, you can participate with nodes yourself. And for WeatherXM, you can stand up your own weather node. You basically participate yourself, and the more you participate, of course, the more you attach yourself to a project. But at the same time, if you believe in it, that's the one way to do it. But if it's purely if you're purely doing it for the money, and I know there's a lot of folks who do it, and there's nothing wrong with that, then I can see the argument of, hey, we want to see more things. But I've been in the space long enough now to see what happens if you have those ROIs or whatever percentages, or the APRs percentages that are like 100%, 200%, 1000%, even higher than that. Ask yourself where those projects are right now. And most of these projects are long gone, and because they're unrealistic. If you want a steady growth in your project, you want to see a steady type of emission type being generated. And so I'm of the opinion that you don't want to touch your economics too much. And if there has to be a change in the economics, that's where we have an XDAO for. We can vote and put that vote up for the community. We would not do that in a Discord or in a Telegram vote, because I've seen some projects do that as well. And if that works for them, great. But we would do that properly governed in an XDAO, where your node operators have a say. And in our XDAO 2.0 that's coming out, we'll even have the miners having their say. In that way, we know that everybody's on board. It's a pure democratic way of doing it. Yes, some people have more weight because they have participated more, but that's also their financial interest at that point. So there's some, I get why people say it, but it's not a quick thing to do. This has to be very thought out before you start tinkering with your economics. The very dangerous path. Point in case, look at Ethereum, how well they're faring. Nobody really talks about Ethereum at this point. They messed with the economics by turning it off, the proof of work off, to go to proof of stake. And at this point, Solana is passing them by, even though that's also proof of stake, but there's way more utility. There's and that's because they messed with the big important piece of Ethereum, and that was that you were able to mine your Ethereum and then buy your funny monkey pictures in the afternoon. But with the Ethereum, you mined yourself. So it was a cycle. Like it was a good working economy, but they messed it up, and this is the result of it.
In 2021,
My 2 cents.
There was a project I really liked, but I don't want to mention them. I really liked this project. They started well. I was looking at them, and they suddenly offered 286% APR, and I quietly exited. Like immediately, I exited from the project because it's almost unsustainable ideas. God knows who creates this. That is like 286% APR. How do you get this revenue? From where you would get this to pay? So yeah, go ahead.
You have to think about two ways there, right? It's one thing to have a big emission like that where you get a lot of tokens or coins back. That's great, but at the same time, you have to think about it. You're not the only one in the ecosystem. Everybody's getting that APR roughly, and a lot of folks will just then start dumping it, and you can always see that in the price. It works great when it's very early and everybody wants to get into that APR system, but you start seeing the APR drop, and everybody who was in early starts jumping on those who come in later. I've seen too many of those, and I will respectfully also not mention them, because sometimes it's not always intentional. It's not always a bad actor, but sometimes they just miscalculated or did a misjudgment on how the economics would work.
How much is that of pressure from the community, which we often don't talk about?
For us, it's not a pressure. We hear it more as a valid input, but at the same time, there is always pressure, especially and that we never listen to these things, or we don't even hear them, but we do hear them. I participate in my community. I'm in the Discord. I'm in the Telegrams. I'm in other projects there, the Discords as well. So I see what other developers have to undergo. But it is definitely a pressure. But I've been in the crypto space now for long enough, but also in the regular business space. And one of the things is that sometimes you'll have your good moments, and there will be hard times as well. But it's in those hard times where you have to make calculated choices, and not rush harsh choices to that again will negatively impact your economics, and ultimately will hurt everybody, and nobody will win in the end. So never make hasty decisions is one of the lessons that I can hopefully pass on to everybody.
And for these decisions, do you have some sort of a council structure or something like that that takes the input, brainstorms, or it is like you have pre-decided certain methods already and you don't want to overtake that line? What's your approach?
Well, like I said, for us, we have an XDAO. So if you feel very heavy about the economics, and you have a better plan, and that doesn't have to come from me or the developers, but if you have a better plan in mind, there's nothing stopping you from putting it forward for a vote. And if that makes a change to the project, then so be it. That's why we have that. So we have that input and the capability of speaking up, basically. So and lastly as well, we have a channel in our Discord which is called the Bullpen, where you can make your wildest suggestions and dreams come true, or heard at least. So we keep track of those, and if those are valid things that we can implement into the economics, we always like to do those. But yeah, I'm keen to hear what the others do for their community.
Alex, it's up to you now.
Yeah, I guess I have a little different perspective than Steve and Davey. I think from my perspective, you want to have governance be able to impact the project, right? And so even I guess it's very controversial, but everything's social consensus when it comes to blockchain, in my opinion. So if the community wants to change it and they have the ability to change it, our token is a governance token. So they can have the ability to change it should they get the social consensus via token. Now, do I think that it should be changing all the time? No, but I think one of the nice, unique things about DePIN is we are community based. If something's wrong and we are a startup and this is a new space, then maybe we should change it. And so I think our project is, it's easy for me to say, but I'm on the BD and partnership side. But talking to our leadership, if they heard and if they saw something that was wrong, I'm sure they wouldn't be against changing some part of the tokenomics. Now, are we there yet? No, but should things change? Like some of my favorite projects have had major changes in tokenomics. I think Aave is one. That's a pretty prestigious project that has changed their tokenomics. They changed coins. Helium, for example, one of the biggest DePIN projects, maybe the biggest. They've had multiple coins, different tokenomics. And I still view them as successful, though I think their token price might not reflect that. To Davey's point on the Ethereum price, but yeah, from my perspective, one of the great value props of tokens is that you should at least some of the tokens grant governance power. Ours does, and if there needs to be change to be made, then that's how we would go about doing it.
It's the same for us, right, Alex? That's the XDAO that I'm talking about. That's the governance part where they can make changes if put forward to the community, and the community says, let's do it. So far, I think we've had it once or twice in the past. But yeah, it's not too often that we make a change like that.
Yes.
Yeah. I think everyone thinks they have the golden ticket to tokenomics and that they have the exact right model. And, if they implemented, for example, a buyback and burn program, that's going to take the moon, or maybe staking and yield or whatever. But once you're actually, in the arena, then you kind of have a better idea of what actually works and what doesn't. And honestly, every project, especially in the DePIN space, I think needs different tokenomics. like collecting weather data is much different than, you know, what Flux or Crust are doing.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I don't think there's
Absolutely.
going to like a particular standard way or that it should be set in stone.
Yeah, case by case.
I was speaking to one of the most influential person in the space, and what he once said to me that tokenomics is like you are playing the role of the central bank. It's not easy because you got to manage a lot of things, and of course you cannot foresee the future. But on top of that, because crypto is a small space and anything can change within a space of 1 year, right? Everything can go haywire and you got to get ready to immediately come to the table and do the modifications. So yeah, so I understand. And for weather XM kind of project, what happens is you know that there are a lot of people who are contributing data. So it need to be flexible somewhere. Maybe at some point of time, it will be even divided by region or divided by what kind of data, whether they really are sellable or not. Those factors will keep coming, right? And so once that happens, the tokenomics has to be complex because it cannot be same reward for all. Maybe like just to simplify or oversimplify this, maybe in one of the project, the reward is more. For example, if we implement something for the micro weather data, the company is going to pay us more. Why? Because that's very crucial for their success, right? That may not be that crucial for a very generic weather data, right? So thus, whoever is giving the station there has to earn a little bit more than someone else. I'm just assuming, right? So these kind of tokenomics need to be also be flexible to be catered. Ben, what's your thought?
Yeah, for my side, actually, I'm share the same idea that Steve and Deb. I think will be very hard decision to change the tokenomics because it's kind of unfair for some previous user and new users and previous miner and new miners. So from my perspective, actually, we will keep the same tokenomics, the same incentive. But like Stratos, actually right now we try our best to attract the Web2 user and Web2 business enterprise users. So if we do that, probably we can earn some fiat income, not only tokens. If we can get some, for example, we get some fiat income from the Web2 companies, probably we will use that income to buy back some token. And in the end, those tokens will back to our miners and to our holders. So without changing the tokenomic, so actual income will be back to the communities. That's the way we plan to do.
Yeah, I think it really depends. The change can make sense, can solve the problem or not. Just imagine if you know like if the Bitcoin price getting down to like $2,000 and someone just suggest we just changing the Bitcoin mining outcome that year. I mean like this cannot solve anything. Yeah, just my point.
Yeah, it can't be like so drastic and
Yes.
so easy, right?
Yes.
There, it need to be really demanded for us to really come to that.
Yeah, but people is very
So,
easy. The end user, the buyer, they buy the token and think your price get dumped, so you guys need to change the tokenomics and then pump try to pump the price like this. They are things like this.
pump the price is a very critical question. It shouldn't be in the hand of the token owners. Okay, this is really, really crazy. But most of the guys come and say, like, when are we going to the moon? Right? And it's always complicated to make everybody happy.
Yeah.
But have you guys taken such critical decisions on tokenomics? Any experience in there? Maybe David can take that because I think he probably has taken some.
Yeah, we have. When we did the switch over from Zalcash to Flux, we definitely made a change there, very cognizant change where we introduced parallel assets where we would basically have Flux living on other chains, and we would have then a bridge over, and we had airdrops at the same time to promote those side chains that we have. Like you can have Flux on, of course, on our chain, but you have it on Ethereum, Solana, Binance. You have, I think we have like 10 of them. And that was a big change, right? We went from a hard supply of 200 million, we basically went to 400 million. And the reason we did that was to promote and introduce the node structure that we have now. Promote the folks, of course, to have more nodes to be able to stand up. So those are that's not a quick decision that goes over months and numerous amounts of calls. Things like do we attach the fiat price to the token, or do we do it vice versa? Those are changes that we've made and that take time and really a lot of consideration. Is this the right way to do it? And you have to think about a lot of things, right? What does this affect, of course, on the market price? But who do we need to inform? Who do we? How do we get that out? Do we put that up for a vote? And I think all of these were done via voting. But these are the things that really take a lot of thinking. And again, it's I think it was Ben who said it, that we're acting like a central bank almost. And I hate to say that, but he's not 100% wrong. We are kind of custodials of an entire economy, and we have to be careful that is done correctly. So yeah, it's not an easy decision. And we always say, personally, let's keep it as it is unless we really see a big need for it to make a change. If we see the need, but like Alex says, there's an option for an XDAO. You can put up your own idea forward, and then the entire community can vote for it. So there's options.
Awesome. Anyone else who has taken that critical decision? Alex, you should be very happy that you don't have to.
Well, again, I think we had our first governance proposal the other day, but I guess last week. But no, I wasn't the creator of our tokenomics, but I've been involved in a lot of communities that have made changes to their tokenomics, and I voted on them or made proposals. But yeah, I mean, one view I like when it comes to tokenomics, I think it is a big responsibility to what everyone said on the call, but a token isn't really equity. It's not really, ownership of a startup, right? It is a lot like an economy, and it is an economy in and of itself, especially our project and the projects on here. But I like when I hear people say that their token's a product, because to me, when I'm looking at a project to be involved in, that's what I want to see, right? That it's responsive to the community, that it's stable, right? So it's not changing all the time, but that it can change if it needs to pivot, because we're so early. In my opinion, we're still so early. I know, did Ethereum just hit 10 years old or something? But we're still so early that if a DePIN project I think could be successful with just a change of their tokenomics, then I'd like to see that, right? And I'd like to see projects change it if they need to. So I know it should be rare, but for Bitcoin, I understand why they would never change things. But for a small DePIN project, I think they should certainly be open to changes. The hardest thing though is like we're startups, and typically in the past, like a VC would put up money in a startup and their valuations kind of be set based on the funding rounds, right? But when you launch a token, you're a small startup and your fluctuation is just so drastic. It's not necessarily, I don't think the prices, especially for small startups in the coin space that have coins, are actually indicative of what the value is, whether it should be higher or lower. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it.
I think with Flux, it actually positively impacted, and there are very few projects that actually tokenomics change has affected them positively. Like if I remember, some of these guys are really grumpy with Veracity. They're grumpy at crypto.com. last moment governance has changed, bring back the tokens from death. So I don't know, but I have seen that with Flux, it has positively affected. So as long as it really helps the project, as long as the community feels that those tokenomics are necessary for the sustenance of the ecosystem, it's all about economics end of the day, right? So we cannot actually separate the economics from the economy, right? So, and for a stable economy, only change is constant, or right? So when you look at that aspect, that if you think that that every project should follow Bitcoin, then you cannot be flexible enough, and then the project goes down the drain, right? So yeah, what do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think it's hard. For tokenomics, right now we don't have line to change anything about that. We will continue with that, and we just want to add more value to the business because for the crypto, for the DePINs, each of the DePIN project they have their own token because your unique token is for your unique utility. If all the token utility is the same, actually we don't need so many tokens. Maybe actually today all our project is just using USDT or USDC. Like the real world reality, everyone uses credit card, the same thing. That's why that's the difference between the crypto world and the reality world. So it's hard. So we don't have plan to change tokenomics.
Talking
And
about
I
yeah,
was going to say
sorry, go
one
ahead.
thing. No one ever really calls for a change in tokenomics when the price is going up.
Yeah, not change,
So,
improve something.
so
It's hard because when you apply the tokenomics, all the calculation you have done is with your white paper, and small all the small details actually already be printed, right? So if you change a little bit, you never know. Maybe some other parts will have problem.
Someone advised me.
It's
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, it's a balancing act, right? So and we all try to do the right thing, and we want to see a longevity of it, and we want to see that it can keep going, and for the foreseeable future, it's a stable economy. I think that's, but you're absolutely right. It's like you might make a small tweak somewhere, but that can have enormous consequences. At the same time, I do agree with Alex. Like it's not set in stone, right? It's set in a code, and code can be updated. Code can be adjusted for the needs that require it. If and we'll see at one point there will be new technology coming out. There will be new ideas coming out, and one of them might be interesting for a project like ours. And then at that point, we have to make a decision: is that something we want to incorporate? What does that mean for the economy? And you just, it would be silly to say that whatever is today is going to be the same thing in 40, 50 years. If that's the case, well done to those who were able to foresee it that way. But we have to be realistic here, and it's a code-based economy, and codes have bugs, have features, right, depending how you look at them. But you adjust those, so you make adjustments to those, and again, that's with the open source code that we have, you can see what the changes are. You can see exactly when they are. You can see when the fork starts happening. But again, it would be put up for XDAO first, anyways. We would have to have a consensus from the community and from those who hold the coin to say, yeah, we agree with that implementation. That sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. And so that's the way to do it. But yeah, thinking that what you have right now is never going to change would be silly. That's the beauty of a proof of work coin. We can make those changes. It's going to be tricky when you're dealing with a smart contract with your tokens there. It's going to be a lot more tricky to make those type of changes because you're stuck on that contract, and that's edged, and it's going to be tricky for those folks. But for those who have a proof of work coin, the miners will help push it forward, and we'll see what the fork then offers. But again, for those who are into Flux, we're not planning on any changes, so don't get worried at this point. And if we would make changes, you guys will be the first to know.
And it will take real long time. So there's nothing expected in really short time. Yes. So, and then I think we have a consensus that if ever you need to make a change, then you run to the community, you run to the DAO, you do the governance. That's for sure, right? If ever. And then
Yes.
we have the choice whether to. Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
One quick point. So Ethereum 2.0 upgrade. So the miner community actually don't very agree with Vitalik, but he still upgrade the Ethereum to 2.0 to POS, right? I mean, yeah.
But then as a community, you have the option as well to fork.
Yeah,
right?
you're right. Yeah,
we've seen that with
point, yeah.
Yeah, with Ethereum, you have Ethereum and you have Ethereum Classic. Whatever you're following and whatever you believe in was the right thing to do there. But there is the option to, of course, just fork it away. And we see that with a lot of coins out there, right? Caspa had a ton of forks at one point. I don't think I've seen a Flux fork yet. But Zcash had a ton of forks. If you don't agree with the economics that you have presented, then you always have the option to create your own and start from scratch and fork away.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the open source. Everyone can fork. Just the consequence of the fork project. I can see most of the fork project is cannot be success. That's the truth as well.
Maybe
I hate seeing forks
is
as
it
well.
because
It
that
causes a
is it because they are somewhere the community feels that they are standing in way of modernization and moving forward? What was the reason that they haven't been doing well?
Yeah, I think the main reason is Vitalik keep the name of ETH for the new chain. So most of people don't care about it, just ETH. That's enough. So actually, actually ETH should be the fork chain. I mean ETH should be the fork chain, right? Yeah, I mean, the new chain should be like a ETH POS, right? Something like that, right? ETHS, right?
I think it's. Well, I think it brings up the interesting point though, because it's token holders versus miners, right? Both for Ethereum or even if like WeatherXM were to do it, right? It'd be the weather station owners versus the token holders, and who actually governs the project. For ours, it's a governance token, so the token holders are the governors, right? And the station owners are the miners. So I know Ethereum isn't necessarily a governance token, so that was a little more contentious and a lot bigger of an issue. But I think it is an interesting conversation to say, how do you balance that community?
But now it is.
The hardware
After
owners.
POS, now it is, right? Now almost it is a governance token. I mean, you have to put the proposal and take it forward. Whether you really have a voice, that is debatable, but you still have the power,
You always have the voice. Like you can always fork. If you don't agree with whatever the rest of the community says, you absolutely don't agreeing with it. Nothing stops you from forking away. Doesn't mean you're going to have success, right? Because let's keep it honest. Like if the majority of your governance folks says this is the way forward, and you're on the opposite side and you're in the minority, you're going to have a bit of an uphill battle to get going, and unfortunately not too many forks make it. There are examples of forks that have been successful, but that's unfortunately not always the case.
Samuel wants to do ETH Eurik now after the fork, maybe.
ETH Zurich, yeah. Well, there's a lot of ETH forks out there that I don't know. I don't even know them all at this point, but not all of them were that successful, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean,
and let's be honest, right? A lot of the forks that we did see after the Ethereum thing was kind of to keep the mining thing going, right? And that works fine. Like that's not the issue. The problem is that okay, you have your new chain and you have your miners happy now, but nobody's using it, and that was the issue, right? So that's where those forks fell flat. Is they were only thinking of their side. They weren't thinking of the entire economy, where people have to then start up smart contracts again and things and all. And that was not really thought of. People were just all having different ideas. It is what it is. But you have options. Like if you don't agree with the project the way they are going, you have an option to start it up yourself. But that's where a lot of people all of a sudden realize the amount of work that goes all of it into it, and it's like a full-time job to keep things rolling and making sure you're dealing with the bugs and issues and all that. So yeah, it's not a quick, easy decision. It's an easy decision and a quick one to make, but it's a hard one to keep up.
So actually, Dave, you want to say that do not try that with Flux. It's tough. It's very difficult.
I don't know if people have tried it. I'm pretty sure some have, but they'll realize that there's a lot more to it at this point, right? It's not just. It was a lot easier 7-8 years ago to do a quick fork of a project. Yeah, your QT wall.
Many people.
Yeah. It was a quick QT wallet setup. You put a new logo on it, and off you went, and you put your own economics to it, and you were done. Projects have matured at this point that there's a lot more to it than just a quick chain and a QT wallet and a daemon to rebrand. And that's the case for Flux as well. Like there's a lot more to it to quickly do it, but it's possible.
And so for everything else, there is pump.fund, right? So if they really want to experiment on, I think we're
doing content coins now. I think we've.
No,
that's the thing these days. Are we moving away from meme coins now to content coins?
I was making a joke. I think Jesse Powell was posting from Zora. It's kind of like pump.fund, but yeah.
Yeah, Jesse was promoting a lot about content coin, and then he started this a lot of chain of posts from everybody. It's for everyone now, right? So yeah, that was fun.
I was making a joke but they're essentially the new meme coin, but I don't know. Meme coin's still here. It was just kind of, I think he was trying to change the story. It's kind of like the L2s are now network extensions, but it's the ETH version. Meme coins are now content coins. So
okay.
Awesome. Now we are almost close to this. Oh my God, it's already 1.5 hours. It's 1 hour. Okay. So any parting thoughts from you guys? What do you want to advise to the next DePIN founders on tokenomics? Anything? Or you just want to give some alpha about your project? Please go ahead.
Alex, you go first.
Alex, you.
Sure, I'll go with alpha. We just announced a partnership today with True Markets. It's a prediction market.
Yeah, I saw that, but I couldn't get their Twitter handle, my X handle.
Sure, yeah, I can send it to you, but I'm excited because it's essentially it's combining DePIN and DeFi. So weather data, being able to trade temperatures on a prediction market. So, will it exceed 70 degrees? These types of contracts are actually in traditional finance. And well, I don't know if this particular set will take off. We're going to start producing more and more options to trade weather derivatives on chain. And so in the traditional sense, like the Chicago Mercantile Exchange offers CDD and HDD contracts. That's cooling degree days and heating degree days. And utilities will typically buy that to hedge their risks associated with like natural gas costs when people are running their heaters or their air conditioning. And so we're mimicking.
So you created a futures market for
well, right now it's very basic, but yeah, it's essentially a way to hedge commodities. So like if you want to hedge eventually cat bonds, catastrophe bonds, but these are just simple temperature degree markets right now. But I'm excited to see where the space goes, and I've been having fun exploring these. So wanted to share that.
It's a neat idea. So basically, you're gonna predict if the weather and the weekend is going to be higher or lower, and then of course the ultimate goal, I guess, is then to see if predicting storms or hurricanes or whatever, you can see price fluctuations on weather data.
That's exactly it. Yeah. I mean, the end goal right now, it's very primitive, but I hope to see it get better. But the end
you
goal
have to start
for
somewhere,
us,
right? So
the end goal for us is a farmer could put a weather station in their field, and then automatically we can sell him insurance, and then get our risk off of selling the insurance by selling it into these types of markets. So offloading the risk.
Yep.
So that's the end goal. So first step. But anyways, I'm excited about it. Thanks for letting me share it.
Cool.
I'll get 95% right, because I can just write hot, 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 and very hot. It's Dubai end of the day.
But you're in the Middle East. There's no...
I'm just gonna say this: hot, 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 very hot. Always.
The only time you guys see rain is if somebody turns on a sprinkler in his yard. But no.
Exactly. No, we have some artificial rain arranged by the government. You know.
Yeah, we saw that last year in Dubai.
Yeah.
That didn't really
Will you guys go to Dubai next week?
Yeah, I will be there. I'll be there. My team will be there.
I think
Alex
our
is coming,
gonna be
right?
Dubai. I won't be there. Our founder will be there, and so maybe we need to bring you a station, because I think I'd like to see. Right now, the only market we have trading is London, but I'd like to see Dubai. In terms of trading
bring
market.
it to Dubai, man. Bring it to Dubai.
Although
We
the
have so
government
many
can
things.
make it rain, so I don't know. Maybe that might be a little.
No, but
is that a rug pull then when the government forces a rain event in a hot area?
I think it's more market manipulation.
Market manipulation. Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Should I buy more crust, guys? This is not a financial advice, but
no problem. Just buy.
Always. The answer is always yes. So buy more on everything.
Yeah. All right, guys. So anyone else, please?
I appreciate the time you gave us to quickly talk about the economics and the different views on how we all see it. There's no golden standard on economics, on token economics. There's a lot of variables in every use case, like Alex and I just brought up. I love the forward thinking of making it temperature and weather predictions a community almost commodity. Sorry, to start thinking of if it's going to go up or down. Those are the things that's completely different from other projects, but that's the thing that I like to see in this space is that the innovativeness and thinking differently about things that are very common for everybody else to utilize. For us,
I love the DePIN and DeFi coming together. That's going to be crazy. Yeah, sorry, David, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for us at Influx, we're trucking along here with our AI deployments. We'll be announcing some things soon enough for the folks we're working with in the traditional space, in the healthcare space. I'd like to thank the folks from NVIDIA for backing us up on some of these things and providing us guidance on some of the AI needs that we have. But yeah, looking forward to things that are coming. We have, by the way, for Flux, there's an AMA tomorrow if you want to join in and voice or have questions for us, and you want to change some of the economics in Flux, tomorrow is going to be the time to ask us straight away in our AMA. So by all means, join us.
Be careful what you ask for.
Oh, I know, and I know my community, they'll be asking tough questions, but we never stray away from them. So by all means, go for it.
Yeah, it's a very chill, space. I very like to talk with the guys, and yeah, from my side, I think it really depends case by case. So if you think the change really can solve the problem, you may try this, right? But sometimes people just thinking of by changing by pumping the coin. I mean, that's not really make sense. So back to the Ethereum, actually the upgrade, Ethereum upgrade, I actually solve his problem, like the bandwidth problem, different problems. So that's, I agree, he make a change. Yeah. That's my point.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Ben?
Yeah, from my side, actually recently we talked to some enterprise, the Web2 companies, and we actually will be challenged by some regulations like GDPR in Europe. And by the way, I'm looking in Canada. I'm based in Montreal. So yeah, like that, where are you?
But by the way, jets
Yeah.
are better than
So
HAPS,
when I
just
talked to
for
some big
everybody out there.
company like rail mining company and a financial company, they said, "Oh, looks good. Your storage looks good, and the price is perfect. But just the first regulation and all the data we want to save here must be in Canada. It's me. You know, the blockchain, the decentralized network is borderless. But when they want to choose the node, they must select, regionally, right? So that will be challenge. Probably something we could do, but when we do it, it's not purely decentralized network anymore. So you will add a lot of code and control by people to distribute the file, how to read the file. That's one challenge. The other challenge we met and we try to do is really want to have the massive adoption from the enterprise and users. So right now, we worry about for the Web2 user. Actually, the big challenge for them is convince them to using the wallet, to create the wallet. It's hard. So right now we try to integrate the easy way. Any user, they don't need to integrate. They don't need to know the Strato tokens, and this happen in the back of the screen. But they can feel comfortable directly using it. They don't need to the storage. They don't need to know the wallet. They don't need to how to hold the Strato tokens, but they can feel free to open the web page to use it. We just want to get their actions when they feel this is interesting and let them feel there's no KYC, there's no censorship. When they feel this makes them more comfortable, maybe they will pay more attention on cryptos and we give them time to educate them, then probably they can join the Web3 world later. I mean, we need to take longer time to educate the Web2 people. How can they get into Web3 people, to Web3 world? So yeah, that's what we try to do now.
Yeah, so quick sentence from my side is because we are also do the decentralized storage. So definitely you cannot find your customer from the Web2 world, like you mentioned.
It's
They will
hard.
ask you about they will ask you about the GDPR and ask you about the service level. It's very difficult for you to examine all the things for decentralized things for from your side. So the only users and find it from the Web3 world. Yeah, that's right now. Yeah, very difficult to find the web.
Yeah, Steve, actually
Yeah.
2 weeks before I was in Hong Kong as well. We should meet. Actually, I met Leo.
Hey,
Yeah.
if Mika
Well,
can ask the stablecoin provider to keep the money in a traditional bank in Europe, then yeah, you know that regulators can go to any extent. So I don't know the obsession of keeping the data secured versus keeping it in my premise. Then why do the banks exist? So yeah.
so one point is I regularly like to receive the letters from my email, right? Receive the letters from UK police office. They send me the like, alarm mail about that they found IS organization, ISIS, you know that organization. They stored like separated the training material through our network, and then the London police office asked me to delete that. So I tell them that we are a decentralized network. We cannot delete anything from the network. Maybe I can like block it on the gateway, but I cannot delete it. Yeah, that's the things from decentralized stories. The decentralized world is like you cannot do anything. By the third party, right? I cannot delete his data, and I cannot know who actually in the back who store the data. Yeah, because we don't have the KYC, we don't have the AML on the like the video control on this network.
It is easy to just say, oh, you need to have a kill switch, but you can't have a kill switch in anything. If you have the kill switch, then it's not decentralized. So, right. So, what do you do? So, yeah.
Yeah, the things you can yeah, for storage things you can do some regulation on the gateway, the people who draw the data, but on the IPFS, network you cannot do anything
That's what I
on
think
this network because
Theta is
that
also
data.
doing the same way. But it is blocking. Yeah, Theta
All
is
right.
also doing the same way.
Mm.
Awesome. Guys,
Cool.
thank you so much. It was such a lovely evening and a morning for most of you guys. Wonderful talking to you, and you shared so much about tokenomics. I'm so sure that all the DePIN founders right now is going to keep playing this. And thank you for all the audience that are watching, 959 people. Thank you so much. You always come and back us. This is great. And I would also love to see that we collaborate. Very interesting group of people contributing all the time. So I will be in touch with Alex and we see how we move forward with our new implementation. Similarly, the storage thing, I'm coming to you guys very soon. Storage is going to be one of our important factor. Not at the moment, but in a month or so, that will be knocking our door. So I will keep the channel open. So please feel free to talk to each other, collaborate. Cross-pollination is happening already in DePIN space, and this is a good sign. Thank you so much, and I look forward to speaking to you again.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yeah, thanks for your time. Yeah, nice to